Hi there and welcome back to my channel, the place to be when it comes to gut health and overall well-being. So before we dive into today's video, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to make sure you stay updated whenever I post a new video every Tuesday. And also make sure to stay until the end of this video as I have an announcement that you don't want to miss. So in this video, I wanted to share the 3 biggest mistakes I see people do that can seriously affect your digestive health and also cause an energy decline. And I wanted to cover these 3 mistakes because statistically, about 70 million people suffer from digestive disorders or diseases, and that is only in the United States. So that's a very, very big population that suffer from anything from IBS, IBD, it could be chronic constipation, Crohn's disease, leaky gut, bloating, you name it. What happens is that when these are not well managed, it can lead to a lot of severe symptoms, like having sudden and unannounced runs to the bathroom, cramps, nausea, stomach pain, fatigue, just to mention a few. And these are, of course, things that no one should have to go through. And again, that's why I wanted to bring up these 3 mistakes that I tend to see people do that can be very harmful for your digestive health and well-being. So the first mistake that I see people do is to go on a restrictive diet. And I know that it can be easy and tempting to jump on the latest diet or jump on a diet that you have heard, has made wonders for someone else. But that can actually be very detrimental for your own health and well-being. So let's take the low-carb diet as an example. So I have a lot of women telling me that they go on a low-carb diet to manage their gut issues, to lose weight, or just having more energy and so on. But what usually happens is that you restrict all carbs, so even the good ones. Yes, so there are both good and bad carbs. And so good carbs have a lot of fiber, which is essentially the food for your good gut bacteria. So what happens is that when the good carbs are cut out, you actually starve the good gut bacteria. And that can actually make current symptoms even worse, or it can lead to things like poor digestion, fatigue, can make you gain weight, but it can also lead to things such as anxiety and stress as well. So with that said, you don't want to jump on any diets before you know what works for you individually. And the second mistake that I see people do is to think that medications and supplements will simply solve it all. And I do want to highlight, I'm not saying that medications are never good. Medications can absolutely be amazing and also necessary in certain situations. But what tends to happen is that I see a lot of people turning to medications a bit too quickly, or seeing it as a quick fix solution, or simply turning to medications before trying anything else. Because the thing is that medications and also supplements, they only cover up the symptoms, so they actually don't address the underlying problem or issue, which is what you actually want to solve. And third and final mistake that I see is doing it on your own. So when you're starting and going through your health transformation journey, a key thing is to change your beliefs and your mindset in order to create new sustainable habits. And how do you do that in the most effective way? So by working with a mentor or someone who's been going through a similar challenge or the same challenge as you. Because what happens is that your brain and your ego is always constantly out to protect you. So whenever you're about to try out new habits or making a change, you might have this little voice in your head saying that you know, you're not capable of it, you don't have time, you know, you can't afford doing that, or whatever it is. And so usually what happens is that you don't go through with the changes. So when you have someone to work with, you can have someone there to support you 100%, and that makes sure that you work through any, you know, voices in your head telling you not to make any changes. So with that said, doing it on your own simply means that you typically end up not going through with it, or that you give up too easily, or simply that it's just gonna take you a lot longer to reach your desired outcome. Alright, so I mentioned in the beginning of this video that I had an announcement. So this Thursday, I am hosting a free live online masterclass where I teach you about my 4-step plan to take control of your gut health and turn fatigue into energy. And I would absolutely love to see you there. So I'm gonna leave the registration link in the description below, or you can just write in the comment section that you would like to join, and I'm happy to send the link to you directly. So I hope you enjoyed this video, that you found it helpful. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. As always, I'd love to hear from you, so let me know in the comment section what your biggest takeaway was from this video. And so with that said, thanks again, and hope to see you next time.